Why your dog never sleeps deeply when you're upset. Maya had always been the kind of person who held things together. At work, in her friendships, in the particular way she moved through difficult moments, efficiently, capably, without making a scene. She had built her life around a kind of quiet competence that other people found reassuring, and she had found over the years that it was easier to be the one who was fine than to be the one who was ent. She was good at it. She had been good at it for long enough that she had almost stopped noticing she was doing it. Nora had other ideas. Nora was a 3-year-old rescue mutt, medium-sized black and white with one ear that stood up and one that didn't, and the particular alertness of a dog who had learned early that the world was unpredictable and that paying close attention was the only reliable response to that fact. Maya had adopted her 18 months ago, during a period she now thought of simply as the hard year. A breakup that had taken longer to process than she expected. A job that had stopped making sense in ways she couldn't articulate. The accumulated weight of too many things happening at once in a life that was supposed to have been easier by now. She had gotten Nora because a friend had suggested it, because she had run out of better ideas, and because the shelter had been open on a Saturday afternoon when she had nothing else to do. She had not anticipated what Nora would notice. She had not anticipated, to be honest, that Nora would notice anything at all beyond the location of her food bowl and the schedule of her walks. The first time Maya understood that something different was happening was a Thursday in February. She had come home from a difficult meeting, the kind that leaves you feeling scraped clean empty in a way that has nothing to do with hunger and everything to do with having spent several hours pretending to be fine in a room full of people who needed her to be fine. She had come through the door and sat down on the couch without taking off her coat, without turning on any lights, without doing any of the things she normally did in the first minutes of being home. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even particularly distressed by her own accounting. She was just sitting, in the specific stillness of a person who has used up everything they had for the day and is not yet sure what comes next. Nora did not go to her bed. She had a bed, a good one, in the corner of the living room, where she normally retreated in the evenings with the comfortable certainty of a dog who knows her routines and trusts them. That Thursday evening she walked to the couch and looked at Maya for a moment, and then stepped up beside her without asking, without the usual circling and settling that preceded her making herself comfortable, and lay down pressed against Maya's side. Not asking for anything. Not offering the bright, performative comfort of a dog who wants to play or be petted. Just there. Warm and present and entirely still, in the particular way that communicates nothing except, I see you, and I am not going anywhere. Maya sat with her coat on for 40 minutes. Nora didn't move. What was happening in Nora's nervous system during those 40 minutes was not rest. Studies measuring canine sleep architecture, the specific structure of how dogs cycle through stages of sleep and wakefulness, have found that dogs in the presence of a stressed or emotionally dysregulated owner spend significantly less time in deep sleep and significantly more time in the lighter, more alert stages where environmental monitoring continues uninterrupted. They do not fully switch off. They remain, even while appearing to rest, in a state of quiet readiness, available, oriented, prepared to respond if the person they are tracking requires something. Their body rests. Their attention does not. Nora was not sleeping. She was standing watch. This is not a metaphor. The physiological evidence is specific and measurable. A 2024 study from the University of Jyväskylä found that dogs and their owners share synchronized heart rate variability, the rhythmic variation in heartbeat that reflects the state of the nervous system, and that this synchronization becomes strongest precisely during periods of emotional intensity. When the owner's nervous system is activated, the dog's nervous system responds. Not with matching distress, but with a kind of alert calm. The state of a creature who has registered that something requires attention and has decided, quietly and without announcement, to be ready. Maya didn't know any of this in February. She only knew that Nora stayed. The hard year had a way of arriving in pieces rather than all at once. A difficult phone call, a piece of news that landed wrong, the particular 3 a.m. quality of certain thoughts that wouldn't quiet down no matter what she did. And each time, without pattern or schedule, without any signal that Maya was aware of giving, Nora would appear. Not at the door with her leash. Not with any of the signals that usually meant she wanted something. She would simply come and be beside Maya. in the specific way that meant nothing except presence. I am here. I am not going anywhere. Whatever this is, you don't have to have it alone. What dogs are tracking, researchers now understand, is not a single signal but a constellation of them arriving simultaneously. Breathing changes when a person is stressed. Rate, depth, rhythm all shift in measurable ways that a dog with a sensitive nose and years of accumulated attention can detect long before the person themselves is fully aware of what they are feeling. Cortisol levels alter scent. Posture changes. The quality of movement through a familiar space changes in ways that are subtle to human observation and entirely legible to a dog who has spent months learning one person baseline. To Nora, Maya's difficult evenings were not a mystery or a surprise. They were recognizable. A specific and particular state, arriving with its own signature, that Nora had learned to read the way you learn to read the sky before rain. And every time the weather changed, Nora adjusted. By spring, Maya had started to notice something she hadn't expected. She was recovering faster. Not because anything external had changed. The job was still the same job. The loss was still the same loss. But Nora's presence beside her on the hard evenings had a way of interrupting the spiral before it could fully establish itself. The warm weight, the slow breathing. The heart rate that was, without any intention on either of their parts, gradually pulling hers toward it. She would sit down feeling scraped and empty, and she would get up an hour later, feeling simply tired, which was different, which was better. Which was the difference between a weight you cannot move and a weight you can put down for the night. Co-regulation. The science has a name for it now. But Nora had been practicing it for months before Maya found the word. There came an evening in April, not a hard evening particularly, just a quiet one, when Maya noticed that Nora was asleep. Fully, deeply asleep. Legs twitching slightly in whatever dogs dream about. Breathing slow and completely loose. The total relaxation of a creature who has decided the watch is over and rest is allowed. Maya sat beside her and felt, with some surprise, that she was fine. That the evening was simply an evening. That the day had been a day and nothing more. And there was nothing requiring vigilance from either of them. She put her hand on Nora's side and felt her breathe. Outside, the April light was going soft and gold through the window. Inside, nothing moved. Nora dreamed. And Maya sat in the particular quiet of a person who has been looked after so consistently, so quietly, so entirely without demand or expectation, that she has finally begun to believe in some part of herself she had not previously had access to. That she is worth looking after. That is what your dog is doing when they won't sleep deeply on your hard nights. Not restlessness, not anxiety. Not any of a need that has anything to do with themselves. They are keeping watch in the oldest and most faithful way available to them, until the weather passes and they are certain, completely and quietly certain, that you are okay. If this video stayed with you, share it with someone whose dog always seems to know when the night is hard. And if you want to understand what your dog is telling you every day, in every quiet moment, subscribe to Silent Paw Pack, because they speak more than words. We just have to learn how to listen.